You're listening to Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. Small town feel with big time ideas. After all, you are entitled to Brad's opinion. Here's your host, Brad Allard.
Well, if I sounded a little groggy today, it's because all the dust in the ears made me a little bit froggy. This is the word, not groggy. Froggy. You know, got a lot of dust in here. But today I have a nurse on the show, so she could tell me what to do for it. I have Mcghee, who's going to talk about Medicare and other type of health insurance issues, but primarily we're going to talk about Medicare because it's very complex. It makes my head spin thinking about it. There's certain things she can talk about, certain things that she doesn't know to talk about because of the government shutdown, right?
Right.
Right. You tell me, so there's certain potential changes that you may hear about since the government is shut down, supposedly. This is actually the first time since the government's shut down I've actually seen an impact, But who is not shut down is Josh over at their computer board. He's tearing them up as always.
Still working.
He's got a busy day today. Just Airwave Studios is just taking over, I tell you now. So anyway, if I sniffle a little bit and whatnot, pardon me, please. It's just the allergies season. Okay. See what I mean? All right. Anyway, Michelle, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, that's quite all right. Because this is a topic that I think a lot of people need to hear.
Absolutely.
Because they don't. I wouldn't know what to do. Now I'm glad that you're available. She's part of our BNI group, and so hopefully as we get older, we'll have expert advice on how to handle all these things.
That's right.
And let's talk about the sponsors real quick so we can, get away, on our way here. Our Place Restaurant, of course, is always. By the way, Otto has asked for y'all's opinion about what mural y'all want on the new Our Place. It's about 3 blocks down from here in Crowley. They're going to put a mural on the wall. So if you access his page, you'll be able to see the 3 choices. And he's just kind of interested in which one you want. I like number 3 personally, but there you go. So I'm sure you've been to Our Place before. I mean, but you're not. You don't live in Burleson. You live in the area. You live in Granbury, right?
That's correct.
But you do a lot of driving, right?
I do a lot of driving. Have a car, will travel.
That's right. But most of your business is probably here in the Burleson, Crowley, Joshua area, right?
Yes, I'm around here in Tarrant and Hood and lots of places.
Lots of places. So you put a lot of miles in that car, do you?
I sure do.
Well, good. Keeps you out of trouble.
Keeps me out of the house.
All right. All right. Also, Gina's Pizza, everybody's favorite pizza joint. Have you ever been to Gina's? I mean, you probably don't eat a lot in Burleson after hours, I'd imagine.
No, I haven't, but it looks like it might be somewhere I want to try.
It's a great place to go. They're open for lunch on Thursdays and Fridays. And if you're ever in Burleson around 5 o'clock, it's a great place to pick up something to go or eat there or whatever.
Okay.
It's a really good pizza. And Gina's was an old-time pizza place. I mean, it is like early 70s, I think, is when it was first done. And Otto bought it about 3 years ago and revamped it, and it's great. I mean, it has good pizza and great music and, all this very hometown atmosphere. Also, somebody John Williams over at Old Pro Roofing, a very nice young man. Yeah, he's just so swell, doggone him. But anyway, he's on the road a lot, too. He does all over this area. And I've talked to him a couple of times, and he's like... he puts in like 200 miles in one day.
Yeah.
Is that what you do?
I can believe it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he'll help you with your roof wherever you live. I mean, seriously, if you're within about an hour's drive, that's no problem at all. He does a lot of business up in the northern part of the Metroplex. So give him a call at 817-734-2756. Come check your roof out. We're supposed to not have any rain for a little while, so this is the time to do it. Not wait until the weather's going to turn bad. And he'll tell you if your roof is fine. He'll tell you if you need minor repairs. He'll tell you if you need a new roof. And if you do, he'll help you with the insurance, which I don't know if you noticed this, but dealing with insurance companies can be difficult. Did you ever notice that?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a tad.
Yeah, but that's why my head spins when I talk about health insurance in particular. And we'll cover you for everything except for these things that you were going to get. Anyway. So thank you to John, also another friend of ours from BNI, Jeff Kelly, 817-781-0546. He'll sell anywhere. Mostly he does northern Johnson County, but I know he'll travel to Granbury. He's got several houses on the market, so give him a holler. He's probably one of the most prominent realtors in this community. He's with the Wethington Agency, and so you're dealing with home folks. So that's always a good thing. It's right off of 141 Northwest Renfro Street, Suite 113. But you'll probably catch him in his vehicle because he does a lot of driving too. But again, 817-781-0546. Also, thank you to our friend Tiffany over at Local Life Magazine. This is a good advertisement. 30,000 homes get it. You might want to talk to her about advertising. I don't know the rates. I don't always put that out there because that's a negotiable thing. But it goes, like I said, 30,000 homes all over this northern Johnson County area, basically your territory. And locallifetx.com is on 24/7. Now, this comes out the first of the month, so I don't know what the new issue is going to be about. I think she's doing local loves for November, and then in December, I believe she does the nonprofit section. Also, another friend of ours, Al,
Yes.
At Bass Printing and Consulting, Alrick at bassprinting.com. That's ALRICK at bassprinting.com. Or at 817-616-8761. Whatever you want your logo on, he can do it at Bass Printing and Consulting. They can put it on hats and cups and pins and paper and shirts and banners and you name it. So there you go. He's over here at the hub too, so he's a local guy. Again, 817-616-8761. I do believe that we're kind of right now in between nonprofits, so we don't have to. I don't know if you have anything coming up. I went to two on Thursday. One Thursday morning, I went to the Opportunity Fund breakfast. I have a meeting with them tomorrow, so I guess we'll find out how well we did. But it was really, really good, and a lot of people were there, and the kids, Hill students, will clean the tables and whatever else, and they were very appreciative. I mean, sincerely appreciative, and. Then that night I went to Summer Garcia's little Next Step Center.
Love Summer.
Gosh, it really was good too. They had a speaker there, very moving speech, and I don't know how much money they raised, but I bet they raised a bunch.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so it's a big deal. So I'm not sure of any going up in the next week or so, but that's fine. But let's talk about you. First of all, like myself, you have a public school background, right?
I do.
So tell us all about your background and how you got involved into this particular line of work.
Well, thank you. I have been a registered nurse 30 years. I've done all kinds of jobs. I was mainly a pediatric nurse at Cook Children's. We lived in North Richland Hills for 20 years, and the last 3 years we moved out to Granbury. We love it. Kids are 27, 22. I have 2 boys in college, graduating. My oldest will graduate in December with a pre-law. So I guess about 3 years ago, I just was tired of nursing, not tired of helping people, just tired of the rigmarole of being a nurse. I've worked in the insurance industry for large companies the last 8 years doing Medicaid case management. So I was going into people's homes, helping them receive services to keep them in their home so that they weren't in the nursing facility. So that was very beneficial and very helpful for them. I just kind of got, I guess, burnt out and saw firsthand how these people were struggling with their health insurance, scammed, all the things. And so I just decided I'm going to try it. So I did, and I left nursing this March, and now I'm doing this full time, and I'm very busy.
Yeah, I bet.
So,
but you were a school nurse as well.
I was a school nurse for 5 years in Birdville. Yeah.
That must have been interesting because I know,
Very.
Most people who have watched the show know about my background at the public schools. It's basically, you got some serious illness here. Here's a peppermint, and that's literally what they could do. Basically, they couldn't give them anything at all. And,
I had to have doctor's orders, yes.
Yeah, right. And I get it. I mean, some kid comes in and says, I need, something, and you give it to them, and there's a reaction. There's going to be some serious consequences, and I get all that. But it's still, I'm sure you saw a lot of people.
I did.
That did not have proper health insurance.
This is true, yes. There's a lot of things that happen in the school that nobody really understands, and they go, oh, you're a school nurse. That's a cushy job, which is far from the fact.
Yeah.
I did a year of elementary, which I did not care for. I liked secondary. I finished the last 3 years in an alternative high school in Birdville, And I had a really amazing principal. He was like, listen, I'm not a nurse. Whatever you need, you just tell me. And lots of psych in the schools, lots of diabetes.
Really, even at that young age?
Oh, yeah. Diabetes. So, I had to make sure they got their medicines on time. Lots of ADHD kiddos. But I enjoyed it. It just, I hate to say it, teachers need more pay. I mean, it is important. You guys do a hard job. And,
honestly, the pay issue was kind of like an accepted thing when you got into the profession. And I was paid adequately at Burleson. What really was the problem was the health insurance.
Yes.
All right. It was terrible. All right. And I'm not really criticizing the BISD. I mean, it's across the state like that. And it's because it's district by district and all this other stuff and how much money a district can afford to help pay down. And what would happen is Burleson would give us maybe a raise of some sort, but Blue Cross and Blue Shield or Aetna, whoever the contract is with, would raise their rates, and we ended up losing money still.
Correct.
And like for me, it was myself and my two kids. It was like $680, and if my wife had been on the plan, it'd have been like over $1,000.
Right.
She had her own insurance, fortunately, and so I talked to people that was the only insurance they could get, and they're paying like $1,100 a month.
Right.
So.
And you guys only get paid once a month.
Yeah.
That was hard to get used to.
That was hard to get to. It's still, even now, I wish they paid, like TRS would pay like at the 15th and the 30th or something like that, but that's not how it works. But it just, that part of the teaching experience was hard because it was a real burden for families.
Yeah.
And so you say, well, why don't you go to an outside insurer? Sure. Well, that's not quite that easy because the rates would be roughly the same, but it wouldn't have the BISD putting a few bucks into it, so I would be losing money.
Right.
Because I did look into private health insurance, and it cost me about $200 or $300 more a month.
Right.
Because I couldn't replace what BISD was putting in. So, but you just had your fill, huh?
Yeah, I had my fill. I went back to the hospital and did that for a little bit, and then I left the hospital in 2015. Realized that I was done. So, when you work those 12-hour shifts, the weekends, the holidays, you lose that with your family. And that's when I started with insurance.
My mom got her registered nursing degree when I was 16. She went to Texas Women's and got her education, whatever else. And so I remember that, while my sister and I were in college, she was working, and she worked those kind of crappy hours. My son's fiance just got her nursing license in Oklahoma, and she started working at the Oklahoma University Hospital. Yeah. And, it's late nights, weekends, all this other stuff. It's, the crappy hours.
The nights.
Yeah, yeah.
It's nice when you do the nights. It's like a love-hate relationship because the nights there's no administration around. Yeah. So you kind of have a little bit more fun than the day shift. But, I don't regret any of my nursing education background, jobs, all the things, because it was what I needed at the time. And now I just get to work for myself and hustle.
How did you get in this particular line, though? You just formed your own company, or is this part of a larger group?
No, so being able to see these people firsthand, I saw lots of issues with their health, the doctors not educating them and things like that. So when I was able to get my license, I went in, just independent. So I'm independent. I have all the carriers, and I can show them different plans. I'm not held to one carrier. So that allows me to shop around for them and make sure their doctors are in their network.
So you're not tied to one specific healthcare plan or program or company?
Right.
Is this a franchise of a larger group, or is this just something you start on your own?
This is mine, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So you don't have to really deal with franchise rules either. That's very helpful because, you and I know people in the franchises in our BNI group, and there's some restrictions there.
There are, yeah.
And it's sometimes kind of weird. Why is that restriction? But there you go.
Right.
Anyway, so you started this, and how's it going so far?
Well, since I've left nursing, I've been busy. I mean, it's, slow going, but that's okay.
No, that's the way all businesses start. I mean, it wasn't like when I started doing the podcast, I had, I went viral. I mean, I had I think my mother watching and a couple of friends, and that's about it. But, it's, it takes a while.
Yeah, it's all word of mouth and talking to people.
Hopefully, B and I will help them with that a little
Absolutely.
bit.
I've enjoyed being there. So
Well, there's nice people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
it's a good group.
Yeah, it makes it easier because if
Right.
you get up on Wednesday morning, like, oh, do I really want? I'll go, and then you get there and you're glad.
Yeah, you're glad.
I don't want Greg yelling at me.
Right. And I think that's the hardest part was, as a nurse, you get your patients and you just go work.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're in your own business world, you have to learn to network and market and all the things. And that's been a little struggle, but I'm learning and getting
self-motivated.
there. Yeah, absolutely.
Because when you have a paying job, you respond to that. But when it's your own business,
Right. You can't call in and ask for PTO or say I'm sick.
or you don't feel like it, if
Right.
you do that, your business isn't going to do as well.
Exactly.
But so now, specifically, what is the business? I know what it is, but let's make it clear to the listener here. What is it that you offer somebody?
So I have a license to write health and life. I focus more on health because it's just easier for me being a nurse, understanding that side of it. I offer Medicare, Marketplace, and supplementals like dental, vision, hospital indemnity, things like that can fit in with their health care.
So basically, though, I was under the impression you primarily dealt with Medicare, but some 25-year-old you can help as well as a 65-year-old.
Sure.
Okay, because when you're talking to B&I meetings, you were talking primarily about Medicare
Correct.
and getting access to it and helping people get it because it's tough to navigate.
It is tough to navigate.
And even if you have something like TRS, which will just dump you on Medicare, you think you're good to go, you find out, not so much because
Right.
what was formerly covered may not be now, and you got to make sure that all is. So,
Right.
So you can provide for anybody. All
Sure.
right. It isn't just
Right.
people that are approaching senior citizen age.
Well, and I have Medicare people who are under 65 because there's a whole criteria there that if they have a disability, then they're on disability for that 24-month period, that 25th month, they become eligible for Medicare.
I'm a diabetic. Does that count?
No, unfortunately.
Well, not
Yeah.
that's not that I'm looking to go because the TRS right now. The only problem with the TRS is that really we have a pretty high deductible.
Correct.
And not to get too personal, but we had to have an overnight stay at a hospital recently, and it was very expensive. And it was covered mostly, but we still had to pony up about $5,100.
Right.
And it was just an overnight stay, and I thought I could have gone to Tahiti on this money twice. Well, it got to me. The doctor taking me out and saying, you gotta go on vacation, reduce
Right.
stress, all this other stuff. And I'm like, I just paid for my vacation here, doc. What are you talking about? But as far as I think we need to focus on Medicare because I think that's what most people have the most trouble navigating. Because if you get somebody who's 30 years old and they're getting their insurance, and you can offer all these different plans and all this other stuff, but to Medicare, you got the government involved,
Right.
And you have the government mandates and government restrictions. In fact, you were telling me beforehand that you really aren't allowed to be too specific about various plans.
Correct.
With me anyway, unless I was a client and we were talking off the air. But as far as like you talking in general terms in the public, you're basically, until I'm officially your client, you really are kind of restricted. Is that right?
Well, if you are not my client and you called me and you wanted to have a meeting and talk about what your options were, then I would be required to give you what's called a scope of appointment. And then you would sign it, I would sign it, and we'd talk about it 48 hours after you sign it. If you were a walk-in in my office, then I would be able to give you the scope of appointment, and Medicare says we can do it then. So there's different rules, but technically if someone calls me and we schedule an appointment, I have to schedule that appointment 48 hours out per Medicare's rules. So Medicare says we have to have that signed because it's given me permission to talk to the prospect and client.
I'm not really sure why that is. I mean, if
It's a protection.
I guess, but
Yeah.
all these other insurance companies that are offering typical health
Yeah.
insurance. I mean, here's the plan, right? And they advertise it, and they
Right.
and you pick and choose and all this other stuff. But Medicare, basically, you have to be an official client with signed documentation to be able just to talk about variations of Medicare.
Yes.
So we're going to have to talk in very general terms
Yeah.
about what Medicare and Medicare Advantage is and Part D and all this
All the alphabet soup that's confusing.
Yeah, it is very confusing.
is, yes.
And honestly, vast listening audience, if you're getting to this point or your parents are, you really do need to talk to Michelle because you'll end up signing up for something. And I understand trying to change once you've signed up is difficult. You know, it isn't like you can pick and choose every year when Medicare, you can make changes, right?
Right. Well, tomorrow, for instance, is the beginning of open enrollment that starts October 15th through December 7th every year. However, there are what's called special enrollment periods that the governor will put into place. Say, for instance, if there's a disaster, if you move to a different zip code, things like that, someone passes away in your family or your household changes, those are special enrollment periods that we can look at to see if there's another plan that fits your needs. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like most people who listen to the show know my father passed away, but and Medicare, he's in a good place.
Yeah,
The last few months were
tough.
very tough. And so we're, it's at that weird emotional period. You miss him, but you're glad that he's no longer suffering and in bad shape and that kind of thing. But Medicare paid for it quite a bit, and they had a pretty good plan. And my mom is still on Medicare, so I'm sure they had to make adjustments. One of the interesting things is I kind of made this week. I don't know if it was a coincidence or not. It's kind of end of life planning type stuff. You're here today, and then I have Jennifer Woods coming on Thursday, talk about wills and having all your P's and Q's and whatever else. And there's a lot of paperwork involved that we have found out when one passes. But those are the kind of life changes you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So
some of them, yeah.
But let's say that your health condition changes, and when you're on Medicare, it didn't change for the better. So you can change your plan though, but I'm sure there's some process involved.
There is a process for sure.
It didn't like calling them up and clicking a few buttons, on whatever else. It's a being.
Right. And I think sometimes people think, oh, I'm just going to do it myself, and then they go on and they look and go, okay, yeah, that looks good. Well, it's important to find that local broker that can shop for you because when I go talk to someone, I do a needs assessment. So I find out what's important to them, what they want their health plan to look like, because I'm just a tool in their toolbox. I'm there to educate them and help them find the right plan that will benefit their health and their budget. So, I'm not going to just go in there and go, oh, I think you need this plan right here. I'm going to offer different options and we'll go from there.
So basically we have about 8 weeks to sign up.
That's right.
Okay. So if your birthday is not in that 8-week period, you're going to have to wait to the next one. Like myself, my birthday's in June. So
you have 3 months before June to sign up for Medicare, right?
So 3 months before June, not 3 months before the sign up period. So
it's based, when you turn 65, it's based on your birth month.
Okay.
So you have 3 months prior to sign up, your birth month, and then you have 3 months after. So you have a 7-month window. But the sooner you do it is better because you want to, like if your birthday's is in January, so you have 3 months, so you can already start that process.
Yeah.
So yeah, because you have to go through Social Security website to sign up for Medicare A and B.
And with the government shut down at the moment.
Correct.
And that's interesting because, we kind of joke about the shutdown because most of us really aren't affected by it. But I think we're starting to be because if the government's not open on November 1st, this won't be happening, right? There'll be people needing Medicare and they're not going to be able to sign up for it.
There's people there. They're just not getting paid.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
they still are there doing their job.
Yeah, but for how long? Because we're not going to get into the politics of the shutdown, but it's just how long are they going to be doing that on their own initiative? I mean, it's
tough when you're not getting a consistent paycheck.
Yeah, I'm afraid that we're going to start to have a backlog. I mean, and you talk about how many thousands and thousands of people become eligible for Medicare every year.
Yeah, turn 65 every day. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking. There's going to be a big group. Is 8 weeks enough to get it all done?
It's just the way it's always been.
Yeah. So why do they restrict it? Why can't it just, when you turn 65, boom, there you go, or whatever. You could maybe, 3 months at a time, you sign up, whatever, and then the day you turn 65, you're eligible.
It starts that month of your birth month. So your birth month, June, whatever, say June 15th.
Well, it's
June
27th.
June 1 would be your effective date. So, yeah.
Well, that's going to be a year and a half for me. I'm not going to say about my wife because she don't, but she'll be on it before I am.
Yeah.
And so she would probably be needing to talk to you around June.
Okay.
And, I'm already on TRS, and they just kind of say, now you're on Medicare. Well, I want to make sure that what Medicare covers is what I need because I got certain issues.
Right.
I have treatable diabetes and cholesterol.
Right.
All right. So I want to make sure that that's covered and all this. And then as far as the pharmaceutical, it's all generic stuff. And so that, other than the insulin, it's no cost to me. I want to make sure that continues.
Right. And there are plans, like if you were to go individual and leave TRS, there are plans that cover chronic diabetes and heart disease. So there's different plans for different things. You have your plans for Medicaid, Medicare, then you have your chronic plans, and then you have your regular Advantage plan. That
See, there you go. Now we're getting into all this other stuff. Medicare.
The network.
When I think of Medicare, it's actually several different levels of Medicare, isn't it?
There's different options.
All right.
For sure.
And so the basic Medicare, was that Plan A, I guess?
Original Medicare is Part A, hospitalization, and Part B, your medical, and Part D is your drugs.
Where's Part C?
Part C is the Advantage plan.
All right, and what is the Advantage plan? Because I'm not real familiar with it.
Okay. So the Advantage plan, if you say Part C, I always say combined. It's a bundle of Part A, B, and D. So it just has everything together. Then you have your perks for dental, vision, hearing, gym membership. So, and you have your network. So you have HMOs and PPOs. So that just means HMO, you have a smaller network. Then the PPO, you have in and out of network benefits. So with the Advantage plans, you have the network you have to think about. Is my doctor's there? And check your medications.
Well, Advantage sounds like a good deal, but I'm sure there's a cost involved with that other than the A, B, and D.
Yeah, there's co-pays.
Okay.
So it's basically a pay-as-you-go plan, whereas the Medicare supplement fills in the gaps of Original Medicare. Original Medicare is your primary.
Right.
Then you have your Medicare supplement, which most people choose the Plan G or Plan N.
Oh, my Lord.
So like I said, there's alphabet soup. But yeah, so they both have gaps. And so you always want to do a supplemental, even with your Advantage. So when I say supplemental, I mean hospital indemnity, because they cover in the gaps and pay you or reimburse you your co-pays.
But this Medicare Advantage, though, you say there's co-pays.
Yes.
Are we talking about premiums as well?
Depending on the plan.
Right.
So they can be $0, and then there could be a premium. So
I would imagine if you have zero premium, then your co-pays are higher.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah. It just depends on, because every summer CMS Medicare meets with the carriers and they discuss, because Medicare still oversees and puts the rules in where the carriers and them negotiate the plans.
Now,
So that's why it's important to review every October, because your plans change.
Now, we were kind of mentioning this offhand about Obamacare and whatever else. Obamacare really doesn't impact Medicare that much. It's not meant for.
It's completely different.
Yeah, it's not meant for Medicare patients or recipients. A lot of people think they're one and the same, and they're not, obviously. But I remember when Obamacare came about 15, 16 years ago, a lot of people thought it was medical provision, not medical coverage. But like you do deal with that.
I do, yes. Okay. So it has lots of names. Obamacare was the beginning.
There's a lot of names. I guarantee you.
Yes, it has a lot of names. It is Marketplace, Affordable Care Act, and so I haven't seen any of the 2026 plans yet.
Because of the shutdown? Because
of that, and there's been a lot of changes that we've heard rumors and things, but we don't know completely all of those yet. But November 1st is the open enrollment for Marketplace, and it is major medical. There is no pre-existing conditions. Anybody can be on it. So it's nice that people have that ability. It's just sometimes you need to find a doctor that will take it. So Like I said, it's good to have for people who need insurance and don't have to go through underwriting.
Well, that's true, and you know, there's a lot of criticism about Obamacare, both philosophically and politically, and we're not really going to get into that too much. But I do. One thing I did appreciate was the fact I could keep my kids on it,
Right?
my insurance until they turned 26,
Right.
and it was very helpful for my son. My daughter got health insurance through an employer, but my son was still in graduate school.
Right. My son's on it too, because when he turned 26, he was no longer under insurance.
Right.
So yeah, it's nice to have that.
And also the pre-existing conditions. Now that doesn't mean they're going to charge you the same. I mean, it is going to cost you more, but they can't turn you down.
Well, it doesn't go by your diagnosis. It goes, when I do a quote, I need the household income estimated for that year, their ages, whether they use tobacco or nicotine. And so it's age, zip code, and income based. So that's how the quote is formulated.
And not that I'm considering this, but would people like myself who are on pensions and whatever else, that would be considered part of the income, I
Correct.
assume? Okay.
Yeah. Real estate, pensions, all of that.
Well, I'm not really considering it.
Yeah.
My time is coming, and I'll probably
You'll be there soon.
18 months,
Yeah.
And I know that if you wait until the last minute, you end up making decisions you'd rather not. Now,
Yeah.
but you know, it is very confusing.
Very
You
confusing.
tell me all these alphabets, and well, you want Plan D? No, Plan C and H. I remember when Plan D came about during the Bush administration. There was a lot of
Yes.
hair pulling about that, a lot of political carrying on because it's another government subsidy and whatever else.
Right.
But I would imagine there's some people that really benefit from that because pharmaceuticals ain't cheap.
Well, to get your Part D, you don't have to have it. The problem is you will get penalized. So when you turn 65, you have 63 days from your effective Part B date to sign up for a Part D plan if you decide to do original Medicare. So if you choose the Advantage plans, the Part Ds are in there. So it's all combined. So you wouldn't be penalized. But some people don't realize they need Part D. So they go, well, I'm not on any medicine, or my medications are really cheap. It's fine.
Yeah.
But you need to sign up for Part D even if you don't take medications.
Well, because someday you will.
That's right.
You know, because
We all have a sick year.
well, not sick year, but you know, as you get older, there's no way that your health is
Right.
going to maintain.
And we have no crystal ball, so
No, you know, I wasn't born with diabetes. I got it about I was first diagnosed in my late 40s. You know, and my son has type 1. And he wasn't born with that either. It happened to him because, you know, 1 and 2 are two different types of diabetes.
right.
And so, you know, if he didn't have insurance, it'd have been a real problem,
Sure.
to say the least. Still is, you
Yeah.
know. But it just, you know, if you're 65 or older, you don't have to be in Medicare. But I can't imagine anybody not being in it.
Yeah.
You know, I guess if you're really that way, you don't want to have any part of it. You don't have to be in Medicare, but I don't know anybody I don't care how Republican they are, they're on Medicare, right?
It's important. It's
Yeah.
important. I mean, because when you don't have Medicare and you just don't have anything, I mean, you're kind of got a risk there.
Big risk. Because, and then, you know, my father, going back to him, his health was very good up until about 18 months ago. All right. And he started getting these conditions. And if he didn't have Medicare, it would have been even more unpleasant at the
Right.
end. Now, as far as when we think of Medicare coverage, we're thinking of physical health. Does it cover other things besides that?
Yes, it has mental health capabilities to helping you. They're all broken down to what Medicare covers in the fabulous Medicare and You book that you get, that everybody gets every year.
Medicare and You.
It's the Bible. So I tell all my clients it's everything you want to know and don't want to know, but it's riveting reading.
Well, we have a guy
very
here in
thick.
town that who does counsel Medicare patients that are paid for by Medicare. His name's Jerry Kavanaugh.
Oh, okay.
And it's Medicare counseling over. He's over in that same building that has the Rim and Rio Mambo and all that.
Across from the
Old South, yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, and he's been on the show a couple of times, and he talks about, you know, he's not. He doesn't do what you do. He doesn't set him up with Medicare, but he's able to. He gets paid by Medicare to counsel people on it.
Oh, okay.
For like grief counseling and things like that.
Yeah.
So Medicare is a lot more expensive than just paying for your doctor visit and your, metformin or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to just. I think it's very risky just to have original Medicare because you have, let's say you were hospitalized and you have to go in the hospital where you've got that Part A deductible. And for 2025, it's $1,676. And you pay that. And then let's say 61 days later, you get admitted again. You have to pay that $1,676 again. So you could have at least 4 to 5 a year.
Well, how much is the difference in cost then? I mean, is that different per person, or is it pretty much a standard difference in cost?
For the hospitalized?
No. Between the original Medicare and then the Advantage.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So Advantage is a completely different thing. So it's just like, I think it's just more like when you are working, you have those HMO PPO plans. It's like that. It's co-pays, but
Right.
the government's over it. So you have original Medicare, you can go see any doctor. You don't have a network. You don't have a max out of pocket.
Right.
You don't have the co-pays. But when you add the Medicare supplement, like I was talking about, it fills in those gaps of Medicare. So Medicare pays that 80%, and then the Medicare supplement comes in and will pay that 20% once you've met your Part B deductible of 2025 is $257. So Part B is everything outpatient. So you hit that 257 pretty fast.
When I teach school, when I taught school, and I don't talk about it as much now as I used to because I'm not in economics and all that.
Right.
We talk about Medicare and these type of programs and Social Security and all the rest, and then the kids almost universally say, well, it's not going to be there when I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
My opinion is there's no way the politicians, I don't care what party they are, which party they're with, they're not going to let Medicare fail because nobody.
I don't think so either.
Well, they don't. The old folks vote.
Right.
They show up in big numbers.
Right.
They'll get their, they'll interrupt their bingo game to go vote. All right.
That's true.
And so, I said it may cost more in taxes, it may this, may that, but it's not going to go under but supposedly at the current rates, it's supposed to go under in about 7 years from now. I just don't see that happening. I don't care how conservative the president is at that time. He only thinks he's seen a riot before with some of these things. The old folks, they'll turn the party out that doesn't support Medicare. And it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And it may be more expensive.
Yeah.
Or they may have to raise the Medicare taxes,
Yeah.
and all that other stuff.
Yeah. I'm 10 years out from Medicare, so I've been told that Social Security will only be 80% of the trust when I get there.
Well,
so, I can only imagine what Medicare is going to look like when I get to take it. So,
well, that's what I've been told as well. But again, you start cutting into the benefits. Supposedly in 2032, that they're going to have to cut it by a quarter. The payments in Social Security. They'll find a way. They'll sooner or later, they're going to have to make the hard decisions. But they keep kicking the can down the road.
Right.
I remember in 1986, they came up with a solution because they were saying the same thing back in the 80s. It's going to be going bust in the early 90s and stuff like that. And Reagan and the Democrats had a compromise. Bob Dole, I think, was real big into compromise, and it extended the life of the Social Security by 40 years. And I think they'll do the same, but they had to do it by raising the taxes.
Right.
And I think that's just inevitable.
Yeah, there's always something.
Well, it really is no free lunch. I mean, a lot of people think government. These old folks are, making all this money from Social Security and Medicare, but they at one point were paying into it, not receiving the benefits.
Right.
Now, the thing about Medicare, there is no cap on it either, because for my dad, the last 6 months, he was running up some substantial bills, and it wasn't just doctors' visits and treatments and medication, and also it helped for the hospital bed for the home, and also it bought his walker and things like that. So there's more to it than just medical provision, so to speak.
Right.
And it was a relief to my mother.
Yeah.
And you're not going to find anybody more conservative than my dad, right? Yeah. So, but when it came to Medicare, he was practically a socialist. So
That's funny.
you know, that's the way it works.
Yeah.
Do you worry about the viability of Medicare?
Well, there's lots of people concerned about it now because the industry is changing. But I think also I'm here for it. Like I said, nursing in 30 years, there has been so much change in the 30 years that I've been a nurse. I guess I've just become flexible with it and just adapt. So.
Well, how long did it take you just to get familiar with all this material? I mean,
Oh, gosh.
long time?
I'm still learning.
Yeah. It just have to be that complex?
Well, so we have to take a certification every year to be able to offer and educate Medicare plans. And then I also have to take a certification to offer a marketplace. So they have those in place and then there's always training. So I have an upline. So we are in with what's called an FMO, and that is our agency. And so they provide lots of education. I never feel like I'm never going to be educated enough. So I'm always, and I'm here for learning. I love to learn. But I can go and look at a pre-recorded education that they did live. So there's always those opportunities for me to learn more, and I'm always learning. So, and if I don't know the answer that someone asked me, I will find out.
But it's just so much detail. And I'm not really good.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at detail. I'm really not. So I don't know if I could do what you're doing because it just, it makes my brain hurt thinking about it. But as far as, as far as the provision of Medicare, not all doctors take it, right?
Well, original Medicare, I would say 99% of doctors take it. When you get to Advantage plans, that's what you need me for, so I can look up, make sure your doctors are in network, because I'm not going to put you in a plan if your doctors aren't in network.
I don't know if my doctor now accepts new Medicare patients, but when his patients become eligible for Medicare, they take it.
They usually age them in.
Yeah,
correct.
right. And so I'm not going to be kicked out, but I do know of certain clinics or whatever else that they just don't want to deal with it because of the hassle. And also, who decides the rate of payment, Medicare or the doctor?
Well, they negotiate with the doctor, then they negotiate with hospitals, and so sometimes hospitals come back and go, we want more money and things like that. So however they do that, I'm not up to all of that, but they have to negotiate with the carriers and then Medicare and all that. So
not my doctor, but another doctor clinic that my kids used to use, basically after a while said, we're not taking Medicare patients anymore. Because, for one thing, they were pretty full.
Right.
But second of all, they said dealing with the government was such a hassle that it cost them money because they were spending so much, working hours just dealing with the government. And then also not just how much you're getting paid, but how quickly you're getting paid was an issue.
Right.
And that was, so they said, we don't need this in our lives.
Yeah.
And they're not required to take it.
Right.
So now as far as, the current push for Medicare for all, I have issues with that a little bit, but that's because I'm an old crank. But as far as the system, I remember reading articles about, when Medicare was first started back in the mid-'60s. I mean, there was a lot of push against it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what happened there because dental, vision, and hearing are not covered, and drugs. So when he did start Medicare, I guess he thought people didn't have teeth.
You talking about Johnson?
Yes, LBJ.
Right. Yeah, right.
So I think that's the good thing about that, depending on what's important to people. Some people just tell me, I have dentures, honey, I'm okay. Dental's not important.
Well, the vision would be.
Vision's important, it's hearing. Yeah.
Well, all that, it's great. I do think that the two sides better get to an agreement because we can't keep just putting it on the tab, so to speak, and just running up the deficits even higher because it's going to be, at the rate of growth, whatever, it's going to be, I don't even want to think about it. That's a whole other show. But
Medicare and I believe military are probably the top two.
Well, Social Security is number one.
Yeah, Social Security.
And then Medicare, and what's rapidly rising on the list. Military is third, but what is going to overtake it in a couple of years is interest on the debt.
Oh yeah,
that's a real problem.
Yeah.
Okay, that I would say by the time Trump's out of office, 2036, who knows what he thinks, But by 2028, interest will be number 3.
Yeah.
And that's largely because we want to have pay for things on the cheap, and then we'll just put it on the credit card, so to speak. And Social Security and Medicare are one of them. And I've heard conversations about raising both age requirements.
Yeah.
That's not going to be politically popular.
Yeah, it's not.
No, but that's just conversation right now.
Right.
But in your case, how does one get a hold of you? Or like this, or they want their mother to talk to you. How do they get a hold of you?
So I have a website. It is www.thelakesideinsurance.com.
The Lakeside?
Thelakesideinsurance.com.
Well, Josh will look it up because he's really good at this stuff. And also, you're going to have some public appearances, it looks like.
Yeah. So I am at Bread and Butter Monday mornings during open enrollment at 10 a.m. to 11, just here in Crowley.
Yeah, well, it's just a block over from us. I mean, I've had biscuits and coffee with it more than
very
once.
Yummy.
Yeah, it's a nice little place. It's literally
just a cute little place.
Just the next block over, so it's very handy.
Very easy to find. And then on Wednesdays and Thursdays, I have the dates and times on my website as well. But during open enrollment, I am at my favorite place, the Old South Pancake House, Wednesdays at 11 to 12, and Thursdays from 10 to 11. And you can always call me at 682-472-0162, and I'll be able to tell you the dates. And if you have any questions, you're certainly welcome to call me.
Try the phone number one more time. So they were rushing for a pen as you started talking.
Sure. It is 682-472-0162.
Now, could they just walk in on you in Double South or at the Bread and Butter?
Yeah.
They don't need an appointment, though.
No, they don't need an appointment.
Okay, so it's like tomorrow after a B&I meeting.
Tomorrow at 11.
Yeah, it's about an hour after a meeting, roughly. And so you just kind of hang around for a while, right?
Yes.
And you wander over there. Is it in that little meeting area, or is it going to be where we meet for our meetings?
No, it is in the back room.
In the back room, okay.
Yes.
All right, and Thursday at 10 to 11.
Correct.
And you're doing this for the next 8 weeks, huh?
Yes. Yes. There are a few dates that I'm not going to be there because the Thanksgiving runs in there. But like I said, just give me a call and I'll be able to, tell me you're coming or you can just show up.
And there it has, thelakesideinsurance.com. Josh, were you able to find that on the interwebs? There you go. Look at that. There. And the dog. I remember.
So I have to kind of give a little background about my dog. I have 2 standard poodles. Henry is my soul dog, and he is part of my brand. I love him so much. But and then I have a white poodle. She's a hot mess, but I love my dogs. And anyway, insurance is boring. I just needed to spice it up a little and make me a little different. So.
Well, and you got the buttons there all about you and all the solutions and events and
very user friendly.
Yeah. So the lakesideinsurance.com.
Correct.
Okay, so look that up, guys, because you're going to be needing this. I'm going to be needing it. Everybody, even if you're like, that's 20 years from me, you got relatives that going to be needing this.
Yes.
And even if they're on Medicare, they ought to check it out because they may need to adjust what they're getting.
Yeah.
Move from one plan to the other.
Yes. And I'm also licensed in Arkansas. That's where I'm from. So
oh, really? I'm sorry.
Little, I know. Calling my hogs.
You're an Arkansas fan, are you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's where I grew up. So in a little Ozark town called Batesville.
Well, it's funny because every Arkansan I ever met is a hog fan, regardless.
Yeah, regardless of how bad they are.
Yeah, hey, you're talking to a Baylor fan. I've seen 50 years of some really bad football.
Right.
So
yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
So guys, if you're listening to this, you think, well, I don't need this right now. You're going to need it for one thing, and people that probably, even if they're on Medicare, it wouldn't hurt to have a review done because Michelle may be able to offer you some plans and some adjustments to your plans and whatever else. Or, it's nice.
Just if you have a question.
Yeah, it's nice to know that you're doing the right thing. Get a reassurance that your insurance is in good shape. I messed that one up. By the way, this will be on tonight on community radio at 6, and it also will be on at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So if you didn't get all the show or you're busy right now or whatever, you can catch it at 6 o'clock. It's on TuneIn, Line 365, and I usually put the link on Facebook. So 6 o'clock tonight, 1 o'clock tomorrow. Also, my friend Rich Hooper, he promotes the shows for us, he didn't run the shows, but he'll say, hey, you want to hear about this, check out Mr. Allard's Neighborhood and that kind of thing. So hopefully you get some of that from 88.3 The Journey. I believe, I'm going to check to make sure, I believe he's on next week. But, on the 20th. Yeah, exactly
Awesome.
right. Next Monday. So we'll be talking about, I think he has this big quarterly fundraiser going on. So got a couple of minutes left. Why don't you just tell us what they need to know in 2 minutes and give your phone number again, if you will.
Okay. Well, it is so important to review your plans every year just because plans change, co-pays change, max out-of-pockets change. So, and I'll be really honest with you and tell you, yes, that plan is still good. It's good if it's working for you. If it's not working for you, you've had problems, then we can look at other things. So just give me a call, 682-472-0162.
All right, share this with your friends. And see, like I mentioned, on Thursday at 11, we're going to have Jennifer Woods, and we talk about Roots and Reflections. Her company talks about end-of-life planning, which definitely found out the importance of that. My dad, well before anything started happening to him, had what he called a bucket book. It had all the material he needed. And even with the proper planning, it's still, there's a lot of stuff to go through, a lot of paperwork, and got to sign this and have it notarized, and here it just needs to be signed by God and that kind of thing. And so it's tough,
Yeah, it is tough.
Anyway, thank you, Josh, for being so nimble again. He really didn't he do a good job.
He did a great job. Thank you, Josh.
He's worth the $4.95 an hour we pay him. Okay. All right. So we will see y'all on Thursday, and I'll see you tomorrow
Yeah,
at the B9.
thanks for having me.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was fun.